guitarists. I hope you're doing well. This is the 78 project as indicated by the thumbnail. I kind of got this idea. I was watching Pete Thorne. I don't know if you've checked out any of his videos. He's got a great YouTube channel. And Pete Thorne was demonstrating some of the amplifiers that were Plexi clones. They're very similar to the amplification of Edward Van Halen on Van Halen 1. And so the idea I got from him, because he was, as he was trying out these amps, he had like two guitars that looked kind of very similar to the way Edwards had his setup, you know, Strat style with a single humbucker kind of thing. So I thought, well, why don't I take a guitar or design a guitar that is going to follow everything exactly the right kind of woods, and tonally everything's going to be very similar to 1978. So anyway, that's the subject of this video, and please tune in. I think we'll have some fun. So I'm still playing through the EVH Stealth, and here's a little glimpse of the pedal board I'm using. I'm using the Blue Sky over here to give it a little bit of reverb like the first album, but I imagine I'll probably end up doing a video explaining what's going on here someday. So this Strat that I put together was actually, and I did put it together myself and finish it, but right here, the company's called Warmoth. If you haven't heard about Warmoth yet, you're in for a treat, because you go to, it's spelled WARMOTH.com. My son and I, one year, he built him a very nice walnut Mustang, and so I built a Strat. And you got to check out the site. Okay, we're looking at the Warmoth site right now. This is a great resource for a do-it-yourselfer or experienced luthier. This is the exact site that I used to initially build the stratocaster. But this is great. You can look at stuff they have in stock. I mean, just everything you can think of, you know, different kind of necks and configurations. You can certainly look at, you know, bodies. And then these are bodies that, you know, either they're shop in stock bodies. What happened here? Guitar bodies. Yeah, here we go. All right, so there's all kinds of bodies you can look at. Just lots of different options. And probably a really cool feature here is when you build a custom, this actually takes you to a thing where you can actually start picking your options, and it will actually build a graphical representation of what you chose for your construction. So if you go through this right here, let's see, let's say I want something chambered. Let's see, kind of construction, and we want to see, let's go with chambered. I'm going to pick my core wood here. You know, say like I wanted to do maybe roasted swamp ash, and then you can see right there it loads it up, and then say like you know what, I want a really nice maple top. So, you know, I think the quilt maple looks really cool. So look, you can see how it starts to load it up. You can select a unique choice. Yes. You know, they could show you some different tops and things like that. So after you pick right-handed, if you're right-handed, you can choose whether the cavity is going to be a top route or a rear route. Let's go rear route on this. You know, and then you start picking your pickups. Let's see. I'm going to go with humbuckers that are wood mounted. And then I want to go ahead and have this neck. It's 24 frets, so it's going to be a little extra, but you can see they automatically move the pickup down and out of the way for the reposition. Let's see. Let's go with the middle. Let's go with a Strat. And then let's go with a humbucker wood mount. Actually, probably want that Strat to be wood mounted too. But anyway, so yeah, you can put in F holes, you know, you can pick your volume and your tone controls and all that, and they just line up everything. So, you know, what you end up is getting an idea of what the guitar will look like when you get it all configured and all that kind of thing. So anyway, great website. I sometimes have fun just going and building stuff, not necessarily buying, you know, but you know, I think I probably will do maybe a custom Strat again someday. So anyway, enjoy. So obviously Swamp Ash, that's the on this Over Relic Strat body that I made. It's got the 78 pickup. It has the roasted maple neck, and look at the back of this. It's a really nice striping, tiger striping here. But anyway, the beautiful thing about, I know Edward he liked unfinished maple necks. So I have never seen a picture of him actually trying that out. And you see how it's got, it, you know, gives you a nice caramel, or caramel, however you say it, kind of browns up the neck really nice. And the beautiful thing is that Warmoth actually recommends that you know, when they bake these in a kiln, they bake all the moisture out. They actually recommend that you don't put a lacquer finish on them. You don't have to at that point. And the cool thing is too, when you have a maple neck or roasted maple neck, if you do a lot of traveling as a musician, you don't have to worry about it warping, because, you know, when they bake the moisture out of it and put it in the kiln, it just makes the neck super rigid. Well, I think you guys know the rest, because every kid across the states is playing the tapping part. So electronically, what I have going on here is, of course, here's the 78 model pickup. Great sounding pickup, by the way. In reading some articles, I know there was 2 pickups that Edward was bouncing back. I think he initially pulled this one out of a 335, something like that. Anyway, not sure, but I know the ohms, the resistance on it is running like a 9.3 to 9.5, something like that. So anyway, yep, single volume knob. Gotta have the single volume knob. Got the kill switch, is a little more modern, or actually it matches what Edward, he's got a kill switch now. The interesting thing is, when I was doing my little due diligence on kill switches, I actually preferred the metal ones better. Here's another metal one. So, and you want to get one that's probably about the size, a little bit smaller than your tone control or volume control. So yeah, the plastic one, which I think there's a plastic one in the Eddie Van Halen's Wolfgang. I just thought the plastic ones just felt like they wouldn't last. I thought they were too cheap, so I'm kind of partial to the metal ones. So, but I would try a couple and see what you like. Standard 3-way switch. And for fun, you know, I was thinking of the single coil humbucker, which actually, this is the little 59 humbucking single coil. It balances really nicely with the Eddie Van Halen 78 pickup. So yeah, you don't get any of that weird, you know, where one pickup sounds louder than the other and that sort of thing. But anyway, that's what I did electronically. And let's get into it a little further. Let's talk about the Floyd Rose. So the idea for the Floyd Rose, the older Floyd Rose tremolo, actually came from looking at the Guthrie Govan model, and you can see that it looks a lot like, I believe it's a Charvel bridge, but it looks a lot like the original Floyd Rose. And then of course he's got a bone nut where he likes the bone nut over the graphite because the graphite actually can strings cut through the graphite. So he recommends using a bone nut with some nut sauce. Yeah. Okay, here's a close-up of the 1978 headstock. And you can see here, Edward had a little Gibson decal here. But the idea to get these things to stay in tune is that you must eliminate as much friction as possible. So the string trees right here are a no-no. What you'll see in the Guthrie Govan model and the 78 model that I have is that you have the tuning keys that are locking tuning keys, and they're also staggered. So it eliminates this string tree here. The only friction point you have is the nut. And of course, it's preferable to go with a bone nut or a graphite nut. Now the graphite nuts, Guthrie insists that the strings wear through the grooves. So you definitely want to use a lubricant as mentioned. And also you probably noticed in the beginning I did the little string rake, which the notes aren't exactly the same because of Edward's string tree. So, oh well. So he uses the Spurzel tuners, and I think the Spurzels are the best. They're just so heavy duty and they lock really well. And the important thing is, like I said, you want to have these strings staggered so you eliminate string trees. The only friction point you have will be the nut. So that is the secret. Of course, he has a thing called a tremolo, which kind of blocks the Floyd Rose from being able to pull up, but it gives you the flexibility to pull up if you need to. When you string these up and lock these down, do not put any windings on them at all. Just put them through the hole, pull them tight, then lock it down. Because if you put winds on there again, you're creating friction, something where the strings can get hung up on itself. So just run it straight through, lock it down, and you're good to go. So here's a close-up of the Floyd Rose. I saw a couple of these on either Reverb or eBay, but these are the original Floyd Rose bridges. And they're the ones that are made in Germany. I've got an extra bridge here. That's one thing, if you guys get these, then you want to make sure you get the German ones that are stamped made in Germany right here. So made in Germany is what you want. Talking about a little bit about the upgrades and things that you need. I got the new bar. They have two of these, and the $18 ones, you know, it threads better. So of course I upgraded the titanium blocks, in there. These right here, these posts, this is also an upgrade that you get from StewMac, and I'll go through the StewMac website and point out the things that you need to get. So anyway, you want to get a decent bridge. It's in pretty good shape. Replace the screws if necessary. Let's see, let me flip this bad boy over. So here, it's the standard kind of upgrades. You have this stop right here. That's an extra Floyd Rose that actually stops the block from pulling up. So this is set up a lot like Edwards was. Big fat brass block. And then these, the length of these that you want to get is 42 millimeters. So I'm using strings 9 through 46. So if you're using 9 to 42 or 9 to 46, a good balance is just 2 springs. Of course, I ran the claw up pretty hard, or all the way almost to the bottom or the top of the routed area. So anyway, there's that. There's also some other pieces that I'll show you underneath. You can't really see them too well, but there is a shim that you need because it takes like 3 screws to put the block on, and you need the little shim down here, and I'll show you what that looks like. You need the shim in order for the screws to lock or screw in properly. Otherwise, the screws are a little too long. So I'll point that out on the site. As far as locking tuners, I don't have Spurzels because I have the original, the original Kluson size posts. So these are, I think, Hipshot made these locking tuners because they actually fit. So there I've got the graphite nut, and like I said, no string trees, and these are of course all staggered. That's exactly what you want. And the cool thing is, when you get this set up, the Floyd Rose stays in tune really well. There you go. Last one. Awesome. Very nice. Well, here's the StewMac website, and you absolutely got to have this. They're a great resource if you need just really anything, parts, if you're a experienced luthier or if you're a do-it-yourselfer like myself, you definitely want to have access to this site, and they just got so many great things. And I mean, there's anything you can think of you need for guitar building is right here. Here's the Floyd Rose shim I was telling you about, and they also do have the Floyd Rose bridges, the same style, the older style bridge with the non-fine tuners. The only thing is that I'm not crazy about these just because, I just feel like the German metal is so much better. So that's why I kind of prefer the German Floyd Rose. Anyway, you definitely need the shim because the shim, when you put the block on, these screws are a little longer. So that's why you need that shim up here. And if you look here, here's the titanium saddles. Right here, this is a Floyd Rose fat tungsten sustain block. You can see how expensive that is. I think I may want to try that someday, but you have the fat brass tremolo block, and this one's going for $34. I think the other one was like 100 and something, so 139. So that's just definitely a better way to go. So anyway, one thing I want to mention too is right here, you're definitely going to need these posts down here. So these guys right here, the Floyd Rose mounting studs. Also, the tremolo bar, there is this $18 tremolo bar, which I prefer. They have a cheaper one that's like 15 bucks, I think. Yeah, this one here. But there's something weird about the threading. I did buy that one, so I actually prefer the $18 one. Also, they do have another Floyd bar. If you prefer the push-in type, they do have that as well. So anyway, but Stuart McDonald, they just are a great website. I think here's the mounting studs. But yeah, anything you can think of, really. You know, they even have, you know, lacquer or nitrocellulose lacquer for painting. It's just a great resource to have. Here's the push-in tremolo arm. So anyway, all the screws, all the things you need, springs or whatever, it's right here on Stuart McDonald. One thing I forgot to mention is you will need this Floyd Rose tremolo stop lock right here. All right, that'll do it for this video. Appreciate your likes and shares, and certainly any comments or questions, please leave it below and I'll try to get back with you as soon as I can. Happy to help. Have a great one.